Good evening, everyone. Good morning. It's Hammer It Out with Becks and Katie. Hope you guys are ready for a good show. Rebecca and I are fired up today, so we got a lot to talk about.
We're prepared. We are prepared. I think I've been waiting days to sit here and go off on one. I'm calling this like West Ham Anonymous tonight, where we can just sit, be a big therapy session, because we're all quite angsty. We're all quite angry. We can sit here, safe space, let it all out. That's what tonight's about for me.
Guys, I've had to hold Rebecca back for the past 3 days. You have no idea. She's been wanting to unleash the beast.
I have. And I don't bribe the beast.
I'm going to have at it tonight too. So if you're thinking this is a happy-go-lucky little West Ham Hammerette time, you are in for a show tonight.
Absolutely.
So, well, we're all not happy with Mr. Moyes, that's for sure. What do we want to kick it off with first, Rebecca? There's so many things I just want to tear into.
I know. Before I unleash Katie K on the internet, I'll say hello to everyone in the chat.
Oh, hello. Yes, I forgot.
We've got tonight for the first time ever, Irish Tommy.
Irish Tommy
is in.
Whoa.
So that's exciting. We've got Charlie, we've got Tebow. I can see Kieran, Gary. We've got Foe. We got the King. The King's in. King is in.
Did you say Vernon?
No, he is there though. Sorry, Vernon. Hi.
Foe. Tim.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I can't ignore Tim. Also,
well, that's like, yeah. Come on. He for 2 minutes and leaves us.
No, happy birthday to Tim, by the way, who had quite a big birthday, his 21st.
Oh my goodness.
I know. If only we could all be as young as Tim.
Must be the skin cream he uses.
I need advice.
Right?
Do you know what, right? Watching West Ham is aging me rapidly.
Oh, I know.
It's the stress. The stress isn't good. The stress isn't good for any of us.
I've been pulling out my hair.
I'm surprised any of us have got any left.
Yeah, really.
Don't be so coy.
We have to poke some fun at the Godfather, right?
Gross.
Hey, Neil from Down Under.
Hello, Neil. So actually, someone asked a question. What are you drinking tonight? There we go. There it is.
Come on. Well, for me, I am drinking Summer Shandy. I think I was drinking that last time. Yeah, I was, because we were talking about Summer Shandy, lemonade beer. Because West Ham has had me going a little hard the past couple of days, so I've needed to slow it down and drink beer. Tearing through them, Rebecca.
Oh, I mean, that's the only way. It's the only way to cope. As for me, as per usual, I'm drinking tea.
Yeah, so it's beer and tea time.
Beer and tea time.
Take your pick. We won't judge. This is your safe space.
It is safe space. So, okay, where should we?
Minus Moyes. If Moyes comes into this chat room, it is not safe for him. Let me tell you.
So I say we start with. Also, yes, Tim, I'll make you a cool background as well. I won't make it as cool as the one I made because, you know.
Yeah, everyone, hats off to Rebecca for the sweet background. Look at that.
I'll make you a cool one, but not as cool as mine. Oh, Charlie B's in. Charlie B is in.
Hey, no cheese whiz, Tommy. Not tonight.
No, not tonight. We're still waiting. Me and Charlie are gonna go.
Yeah.
Live and try Cheese Whiz on air. He does. I don't know if he knows that yet.
Oh, yeah, he knows. He's got to know.
Now he knows.
He's got to know. Oh, I'm just depressed.
Before we jump into it and before we get all depressed, everyone like and subscribe, please. Otherwise, you kill my dreams. Thank you very much. And West Ham are already doing that. So
every time you like and subscribe, West Ham gains a point.
I mean, if only that was actually the case.
Hey, I just saw one. It was beautiful.
If that was only the case, I would very much enjoy that. So, should we start where it all went wrong? Wolves.
I don't even want to talk about this game, but let's go. Have at it. You go first because I'm going to tear everything up.
Okay. So I will start off with my sort of feelings on it. So obviously at the start of the Wolves game, we were rusty, but to be fair, that's kind of what I expected. You know, we've just come back. To be fair, Wolves were pretty rusty, in my opinion, in the first half, not so much in the second, but in the first half. You know, we were coming back. We were coming back after a break. The lineup was interesting for us because there was no Haller. Unfortunately, he got injured after playing 2 gentle friendlies and scoring 2 goals. So we were down a very important striker. Super glad Noble started, although I now regret this. I regret Noble starting in the Wolves match. It was a so-so game. We weren't playing well in the first half at all. And then the second half completely changed. The whole game changed when Traore came on. And unfortunately, Moyes at this point should have realised that him coming on was going to cause absolute havoc, which it did. And he just didn't react to it. And I mean, I can go on and list players. Cresswell couldn't keep up with him, but then to be fair, who can in our team can keep up with Traore anyway? You can't rely on Cresswell alone to do that. He's far too much. He's far too strong. He's far too fast. You know, he's everything. Antonio was in completely the wrong position for me. Rice was a centre back because we've an absolute threadbare team. So Balbrena didn't come on. Rice was centre back for a day. And Anderson was absolutely horrendous. Anderson was shocking against Wolves. He was slow, uninterested. But then again, a lot of the team was slow, uninterested, and had absolute no urgency at all in that Wolves game. Nothing. They had looked like they had no desire, no anything to win. Keeping Noble on for 90 minutes was one of Moyes' worst decisions. I don't know why he did it. Noble cannot be kept on. He cannot be kept on for 90 minutes. As I said, Antonio was puffed, but that's not surprising. And then also what's not surprising is Moyes just putting on 3. Did he put on 3 subs in the Wolves match? Was it 3 out of 5 in the Wolves?
No, 2.
Is it 2?
Yeah.
So, you know, Ngakia started. I actually thought Ngakia was good. A lot of people didn't, and I don't know how you feel about that, but I actually thought Ngakia at right back was pretty good.
No, I think he was just kind of just there.
Did you not? I mean, he had a shot, which was better. Which was better than anything else.
Anyway. No one really had shots, and that's, you know,
he wasn't perfect. He gave it a good go. He was frustrated to be taken off.
I disagree, but sure.
I don't think he should have been taken off because Frederick's coming on. That's when we had a goal. They had a goal. The subs he made were frankly pointless, and that it hindered us rather than helped us. I think he did put on 3 out of the 5 of the Wolves. It was 2 in the Spurs match. But his subs were too late. He put Yarmolenko on far too late. I think it was about the 75th minute he put on Yarmolenko. He hasn't been on for months. Too late. His subs had absolutely no impact. It was a half-hour thought where he was like, oh, I know. I've just remembered, oh, God, I can sub players and I have a bench of mostly fully fit players. The ones he put on didn't do much. The Wolves match went as I expected, to be honest. No huge surprises. Traore ruined us. Our defence was not okay. It was what I expected. But you go for it. Go for it. Do you agree?
All right. Mark's in the house, so Philly Fire is about to happen. I'm going to tear into this real fast. And guess what, guys? You're going to like it because I'm right. Plenty of time to prepare Moyes had nothing but time to work with his players. There is absolutely zero excuse as to why we came out not ready to attack. Second off, with the Wolves playing 3-5-2, we should have stretched them wide. We were not doing that at all. We did not play the ball to the corners and cross it in. We were just playing within their system. We were playing their game. It was absolutely disgusting. There was lack of energy, hustle. I just was disgusted overall with play. There was no one shooting. When we got the ball and we were on offense, everyone was just staring at the person that had the ball. There were no runs. We weren't attacking. We weren't spreading the field. I mean, it was the perfect setup for us to have a win. And we had the perfect opportunity with players being well rested and people coming back from injury in order to capitalize on this opportunity to defeat the Wolves. They are not better than us. They were not better than us. They didn't play better than us. Did they deserve to win overall? Yeah, absolutely, because we were lackadaisical. But in the beginning, we played just as well with them, and we should have done better. We weren't shooting. We weren't taking advantage of opportunities. So, a part of me wants to blame the team, but there's a heavy part of it that I also want to blame Moyes. Not only because we should have been fit and he had plenty of time and there are no excuses, but the other thing is, too, he had 5 substitutions that he could have utilized, and he only did 2. Okay, and he did 2 in the 70th minute. That, to me, is absolutely ridiculous and disgusting. People were dogging it on the field. And in particular, Antonio got tired, as well he should have. He was busting his butt. But you know what? Moyes has to use his substitutions, and we have to spread the field. So that's my piece on it. I think there's no excuses, and I think I'm just absolutely disgusted. I was so disgusted I couldn't even watch the Spurs game. I was busy working, and, I've read what occurred. I'm just absolutely disgusted with Moyes. There's no more excuses that he has. I'm done.
So for me, I disagree because Wolves are better than us. Wolves are more focused, they're more skilled, they're more calculated.
Now they are.
The problem is Wolves have a tendency to kick it off in the second half. And Moyes should have known this, and he does know it. The thing is, he does know it. It's not like he should have. He does know. He knows Wolves' tactics because they're pretty consistent throughout their games. So he should have been able to see that when Traore wasn't on in the first half, that he was going to come on in the second and cause havoc. And he didn't react. And that is absolutely the problem for me, is that he could see it and we could all see it.
Defensively, we didn't cover weak side.
No.
That was terrible. So they were easily able to pass the ball right into the weak side, and they were able to score.
The problem is our defense is so easily taken out of shape. We're so easily caught out. Now, obviously, in the Wolves game, Rice did his best. And do you know what he did do?
He was the only player that I will give credit to.
Yeah,
120%.
Rice did do a good job. Talking of positions, putting Antonio up the top. The man is not a striker.
Right.
Antonio is not a striker. He is a winger, and he should be used as such.
Well, and we played a 3-5-2. And this is where we'll get into what's going to occur with Chelsea. And I think that we'll play 3 up top, which I think is a much better balance. Now, granted, we're not seeing Antonio in that mix, but I think that a 3 up top is going to do us much better for that offensive play.
I agree. I think that my problem is that we're threadbare. Our team is threadbare. So we have to grapple to fill positions.
Sure.
Like later on, when we talk about the lineup for Chelsea, I will explain how hard I found it to fit players in, to kind of stretch them out. That because we were talking before, our lineup's going to be horrendously predictable. It's been predictable in these last 2 games.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Wolves deserved to win because Wolves were better. At the end of it, they were better.
Oh, absolutely. At the end of the game, I definitely would say they're better. But I still do believe we have the talent to defeat them.
We do. On paper, the problem is, on paper, this is my issue if we got relegated. On paper, we really shouldn't. On paper, we should be playing a lot better than we are. But that is down, a lot of that. It's not just the players. It's down to Moyes. It's down to his tactics. It's down to his ability to use the correct players. Also, hello, Matt. Matt is actually my best friend. Matt is my best mate. He's an Everton supporter, so obviously he is.
You know what? I'm not against Everton. I feel that they have the similar gripes that we do. So I do have a very high respect for Everton players.
Yeah, Matt's been through it. Matt knows it. He's watching. Unfortunately for him, he's watching history repeat itself. Also, actually, so are we watching it repeat itself because he's been back for the second time.
Right. Exactly.
It's a really interesting comment because I've seen people say this, that maybe it isn't Moyes and we shouldn't be scapegoating Moyes. But then I've also heard that people have said that we're using Anderson as a scapegoat. We aren't. Anderson is just genuinely.
Sure. And here's Mr. New Hampshire Hammer. Pleasure to have you here this evening. But let me tell you this. The players aren't the ones doing the substituting. The players aren't the ones that are making the formation. So riddle me that. You know, he's got to put a little more effort into things.
I think I would never solely. I mean, I do want to solely blame Moyes because I do genuinely believe that, but it is down to the players. And I'm going to go on to a specific player. And firstly, before I go on to what I feel like is blasphemy coming from my mouth, Irish Tommy, you're right. Replacing Ngaki with Fredericks was the most bizarre decision, and that cost us. That Moyes' decision there cost us because Fredericks, too much space. He wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough at all. He worries me in terms of just him. He's fast, and that's it. Otherwise, I think he's a liability. Now, talking of liabilities, Foe has just written his name in capitals. And this is why.
Oh, sorry, it moved too fast.
Why? Okay. And I don't like what I'm about to say.
Where's the sign? We don't get the sign this week?
No sign. No sign, not this week.
It's a bad week. It's a bad
time. This is a bad time. If I've not got I Love Noble lit up, you know I'm not happy.
Yeah, it's a bad week, guys.
So you know how keen I was about starting Moyes. No, not starting Moyes. See, I'm so angry. I can't get Moyes out of my head about starting Noble for Wolves. You know, I was very keen on it. I based the show 2 weeks ago around Mark Noble. So I could sit and talk about why we should start him. I agree. He should have been started. And I was like, perfect. Lots of people didn't want that. Lots of people didn't want him. Now, I didn't want him for a full 90 minutes. I did not want Mark Noble on the pitch for a full 90 minutes. And in the Wolves game, his passing wasn't as horrendous as in the Spurs game. And I can't even argue that it's because he was on for 90 minutes that he was such a liability in the Spurs match. The problem is he's good for morale. He is a good leader. He is, actually, I'll get to that because he isn't actually that much of a great leader at the moment. But his passing's atrocious and I can no longer defend it because I know why I want him on the pitch. But good God, it's like he is now walking around the pitch wanting to go home. I feel like that man is just looking at the end of his career and thinking, why am I still on the pitch? And that is Moyes' fault. Because Moyes should be able to see that someone like Noble has a specific presence. He has a reason to be on the pitch. His piss poor passing, and that's what it is. It really is that bad. It's just horrendous. And even his attitude before, like his attitude in interviews, he gave an interview after the Wolves match saying how it's a shame and it's not fair that we're playing Spurs now when all of their team are fit, where if we'd have played them before COVID-19, we might have won. Well, with that attitude, you're not going to win anything.
Yeah, and I love what Matt says here, because I absolutely agree with this. I felt like he was, sorry, to change the subject from Noble, and we'll get right back on that. But just to tap on this real quick, because I completely agree with Moyes. He is playing not to lose. It's not, he has no effort in getting us a win. It's more, okay, how can I balance us not to lose? And especially, I mean, I don't know what the formation should have been in the back, but I know with putting Rice back as center back, that's our best opportunity. But we were not getting the offensive movement we needed. And I don't know what that answer, I don't know who it should have been. But I knew the minute I saw our back and I didn't see the strikers I wanted to see up top, I was extremely disappointed.
And the problem is, Fo's hit on it, is we don't have the defense to be defensively sound.
No, we don't.
That's the problem. And obviously, Ogbonna was injured for the Wolves game. So that's why Rice went in, because he obviously didn't trust Valbuena.
Yeah, but what about your boy Ben Johnson?
We'll get onto that.
Would like to see him.
We'll get onto it.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, when you're losing 1-0 and 2-0, what difference does it make at that point?
See, I agree. I agree. I do agree.
Step up and do something about it.
I agree.
Back up. My face is getting red. I'm hot. I'm angry.
I know. Rice was wasted at centre back because we needed him in midfield. We missed him in midfield because he was a centre back. For me, our midfield at Wolves was a little bit chaotic. But I
love that. I'm sorry, I had to say that.
Like, he belongs in midfield for me. But again, going back to this word threadbare, we have to pull a midfielder into centre back because Moyes doesn't trust one of our centre backs because the other one was injured. You know, was it not really this season, but last season, Diop and Valbuena had a fantastic partnership.
Sure.
They had a fantastic partnership. But he obviously just doesn't trust him. And I get it. I get it. I do understand, because I'm not his biggest fan either. But putting Rice there messed up.
But here's the thing. I'm not going to blame him for that, right? I'm not. What I am blaming him for is not substituting appropriately and not taking chances to get us the win when we're down.
That's the problem. He isn't taking chances. And I don't know if that's down to a lack of game planning, whether it's down to him, like you said, not looking for a win. He's looking for survival rather than, so he's looking for like base level, let's not go down, rather than let's get as many points as we can to stay up. If that's the case, I mean, Matt can answer this question I'm going to ask. Is that something he really did at Everton? Now, I know at Sunderland, because I know Charlie's told the story, that he's not the most positive of managers, and that's spreading down to the team. And that's when I go talking about Noble. I'll get onto that, Sally. I've got a whole section to Fornals' shooting. It's the problem is that Mark Noble seems to be fairly negative now. The way he's talking as if he's prepping the fans for a loss. Sorry. Right. He's prepping for a loss instead of the sort of positive, we can go out there and beat these teams. And I know I said to you before we came on that I think the Wolves, Spurs and Chelsea, he's not looking to get wins. He's looking to just get past them and get through them, and then go on to get points from other teams, which is just no good. It's a strategy that's far too risky. It makes no sense. He makes no sense. He stands on the sideline looking lost and confused, as if it's just an OAP we brought in from the outside and gone, here's a football team, do something with them. It's playing right, okay. because I'm seeing it in the chat. Playing Antonio up top, no, it makes no sense. It made no sense watching it. It made no sense before. We had 2 strikers on that bench.
Yep.
We had Getty and we had Silva. And when we went at Wolves, when we went 2-0 down, there was no reason, like you said, that he couldn't turn around and go, oh, hang on, let's try something different, because we're losing now and we're likely to lose this game. You throw everything you can at it to bring it back instead of leaving a knackered Antonio isolated on the ball.
Yep.
We have strikers. I get it. Hilaire's injured. And you know, Hilaire is fantastic. And I hope he's back for Chelsea, although I've heard otherwise that he probably won't be.
Right.
You can't. Antonio is fast. He belongs down the wing. He belongs shooting down there with his pace and his strength. He cannot shoot. That man has minimal skill. He's fast.
Wait a minute. What was that?
What is going on? I'm slagging off Noble.
Yeah, what's going on, Rebecca?
This is what West Ham's done to me.
Hold on, let me sit back and drink my beer. I'm enjoying this.
I'm not even finished about Antonio yet. I've got lines.
Can you believe it? Is this really Rebecca?
He cannot. His finishing is atrocious, and he should not be used as a striker. It is a waste when we have strikers. Shocking decision. He should be an impact sub. Antonio should not start. He should not start. He is an impact sub when we need it. He is not a starting player. But talking of strikers, even if Hilaire is not fit, start a Yeti. For the love of God, just do it. Just put a striker on. And he should have learned, Moyes, and this is a problem, he doesn't learn. Moyes should have learned from Wolves that Antonio was not good in that position. So what does he do? Oh, he does it with Spurs. He starts him in exactly the same position.
I know.
Well, the first time that he thought, it makes me wonder what he can see. What is he seeing that we're missing? Are they amazing in training?
No, honey, he's got 2 left feet.
Like, is it in training? Are they amazing? Are we not seeing it on the pitch? Is he seeing them in Rush Green? And he is seeing this outstanding new striker in Antonio. He's trying to make Antonio Arnautovic. And it's not going to work. We do not have an Arnautovic, and Antonio certainly isn't it.
Oh, man. Do we even want to bring up that name? Hey, I'm telling you, I would have taken him back.
Oh, I've seen all over Twitter there's people that will take him back. No. But the thing is, we need we have strikers, but another problem we have is okay. I'll jump onto Fornals. I'll answer the question. Sorry, everyone. This show's going to be a bit all over the place because we just haven't.
We're fired up.
We're going to just take it as it comes and just get it all out. We've got to do it. It's all got to be said. The problem is Anderson. So Anderson is.
I said this as soon as Traore came on.
You know the problem is though, Vernon. This is my problem, and I've said this before. Traore is the player that we think Antonio is, when actually in reality he most certainly isn't. We look at Traore and go, "Oh, that's Antonio." Yeah. No, Antonio can come on as an impact sub. Not like that though. Not like that. Antonio doesn't have the accuracy of Traore, and there lies the difference. That's the difference for me. The problem is that we left Cresswell. We threw him right into the deep end and went, get on with that. He was never going to hold off Traore ever. He's not far. Cresswell isn't fast enough at all. He's practically non-existent on the left. He is a weak. But actually, that's not just a weak point. The right is also a fairly weak point as well.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't even say we have strength on one side. You've got Cresswell on one, and you've got Fredericks on the other. And I'm sorry, Wally. You know I love you, but Fredericks he has moments, but otherwise it could be absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. and we're weak all over, and this is the problem.
Yeah.
So with Anderson being, all right, what did you think of Anderson? You watched the Wolves match. Let's talk about him at Wolves. What did you think of Anderson?
I mean, we were getting beat every single time on the weak side. I mean, there were plenty of times he was watching the ball on the other side and completely had a defender go right by him. I mean,
I find Anderson to be I say all show, he isn't really even all show. I find him to be, he thinks he's all show, and he tries to do a little bit of fancy footwork, but actually he just looks deeply uninterested in playing. Like, Anderson genuinely on the ball looks uninterested. He barely goes into tackles. I mean, if anything, I think he actively backs out of them. He is not, Irish Tommy's right. He's an ineffective player.
He watches the ball. He watches the other side. He doesn't make cuts. Like, I don't understand. This is your job. That's your opportunity. You should be hungry.
About Anderson is that he is skilled. He is a really skilled, talented player. I don't know if do West Ham kill players? Do we totally demoralize them? No.
I don't think so.
You don't think that? I think there is a culture in West Ham, and I'm going to touch on it with Ngakia. I think there's a culture in West Ham where we destroy players' confidence. And I don't mean we as fans, because that's not an excuse, because fans aren't there. So you can't use that one. GSB, by the way, blaming fans for players' poor performances. Well, there's no excuses now, and you're still naff. I think we destroy confidence in players.
Listen, I understand confidence can be shot, but you are a professional athlete, okay? And when the ball gets driven to the corner and you're standing there watching it on your 2 feet, you're not doing anything for the team, for yourself. Like, every single striker just stood and watched when Bowen had the ball. And Bowen didn't do the best placement-wise in the Wolves game. You know, he should have done better.
Bowen
opportunities.
Bowen and Souček in the Wolves game were pretty not non-existent, but they weren't, you know, you could almost forget that they were there at times.
Right.
And I'm actually putting that down to other players around the world. I'm not actually blaming them for that at all.
But see, if the midfielders pulled wide and gave the striker space, other people could have made runs.
Absolutely.
But the problem is when everyone's standing on their 2 feet, they're just watching the ball. Nothing's happening. So you can't have great players like Bowen do something when everyone's just staring at them. That's where coaching comes into play. That's where the coach has to step up and say, listen, you're standing on your feet. You need to move. That's where, okay, you run out, Antonio goes in, and vice versa. You flip-flop. Just because you're a striker doesn't mean you have to stay in the same spot all game. And
I totally agree.
That's coaching.
I again, and I agree with Matt, and I agree with Irish Tommy. With Wolves, he really did bring two of our worst performing players, and I will say Lanzini. Yeah, I mean Lanzini was another ineffective player when he was brought on at Wolves.
He was.
It was. I told you when he brought on Lanzini and Yarmolenko, man, nothing.
We were done.
Nothing. We were done. I mean, it was too late.
It was way too late.
It's like an afterthought. It feels like everything Moyes does is an afterthought. Where we all had that at sort of half time, where we're like, right.
I mean, at that point, I was like, put in Roberto. Let's see what happens.
Do you know what? A lot of people with Wolves at half time, it was 0-0. Thought, oh, actually, maybe we can. I didn't, only because Traore wasn't on and he was coming, because there was no way that man was being left out of a match.
Right.
So I knew a storm was going to come. Now, unfortunately, as I said, Moyes just didn't respond. So we agree Wolves was a bit of an abject disaster. But if you could pick your man of the match for Wolves, I know it's a tough one, who would it be?
Oh, come on. You know the answer to that.
Deck?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And who was your worst?
Ooh. Hold on. I feel like I don't want to say Anderson. I wasn't happy with Anderson, but I would say Fredericks.
Okay.
I wasn't happy with Fredericks on the weak side.
So for me, my man of the match was actually Ngakia.
Yeah?
Wolves. Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Ngakia.
Why?
Because he did genuinely put in effort. He genuinely did try.
Oh, absolutely. I think he did.
The fact that he was so frustrated he was taken off when Fredericks came on showed that he still had more to give. Now, obviously, we know now that he's definitely gone. So he must have known at the Wolves game that he was 100% going. So I imagine that, to frustration all round. But for me, Ngakia, he stuck out. He had his, he had his moments where he made the odd pass. And yes, I do actually think Wolves players targeted him, and they were probably told to, because, he is new. He is still relatively naive. My worst player for Wolves, do you know, it's Anderson.
Yeah.
For Wolves, it's Anderson.
But see, even though Anderson didn't impress me, Fredericks left us wide open to be injured. Mm-hmm. And that's where the difference is. That's why it took me a little while to think that, because I was not happy with the way Anderson played.
But Anderson, it's just the sheer inconsistency of the bloke that gets me. Just now my actual will go on. We'll leave Wolves behind. We know it was bad, but don't worry, people. It got worse when we played Spurs. So we'll get on to that. We'll go for that.
Selly and Irish Tommy and Wally, they all think Bowen was the best player. And
for Wolves, against Wolves,
I don't know. I mean, I thought he didn't do bad, let me tell you. But there were opportunities he had that I thought he should have done a little bit better. I don't think he had help from the other strikers up top, as well as the midfield filling in the gaps. So I understand why, he should have had a better game, in my opinion. But I just don't. He wasn't my man of the match. I'm sorry.
Bowen.
How about me?
Not Bowen. Bowen, not against Wolves, because for me, he was just a little bit, whilst he was good. And you know what? Deck was good. Deck is a fairly consistently good player.
Deck is always consistent.
He always puts in a shift. But Bowen, again,
looks like a baby bird, I'd marry him.
Do you know what, though? The hair, I approve of him more with the new hair.
No, it's getting worse.
Oh, it's got, nothing can be worse than his original haircut.
Oh, they're all bad.
That just looks like it had been inserted onto his head like a helmet. But look, we're not here to criticize Declan Rice's hair, even though it's terrible. New hair, good. Lockdown hair, lockdown beards, not about the lockdown beards. But the lockdown hair, unless it's Jack Grealish's, then no.
I can't wait until, our children's children come to us and say, what in the heck were you guys doing with your haircuts and everything during this time? We're like, oh, it was COVID-19. It's cool.
Okay. I mean, there's never an excuse for Jack Grealish's hair. But look, there was a virus and a pandemic, so I'll temporarily forgive him.
And we all had to walk around like this.
Yeah. So you didn't watch the Spurs game?
No, I didn't, purposefully.
I did. I sat through I sat through one of the most frustrating games I have seen from us in a while.
Yeah, tell me about it, because I only read the recap and saw Moyes bitching about VAR, which, To me, no excuses. Put your big boy pants on. Come on, man.
I'm pretty sure Matt can confirm that Moyes loves to pass the buck. He loves a bit of a blame game that doesn't involve the name David Moyes. So I'm pretty sure he can confirm that for me. So Spurs, the reason it was so frustrating, because in the first half, the first 30, 35 minutes, we played some of the best football I have seen us play in a very long time. So at this point, me and a lot of other fans were jumping with joy. We were like, okay, we've got ourselves together. Unfortunately, in the first half, I'm just going to drag it back to my favourite Mr. Mark Noble for 5 seconds. I've never, ever, actually, that's not true, but there was his passing, he was a pure liability. He shouldn't have started that game. Now, I know why people wanted him to start, because it's a derby. He's a derby man. We always start Mark in London derbies. However, someone needed to let him know that our team was in claret and blue, because Mark Noble quite enjoyed passing to Spurs players a lot more than he enjoyed passing to his own teammates, to the point it was a problem. The man was losing the ball so much. He obviously, because he played 90 minutes, I've no doubt he was knackered. He wants to retire. He just wants to play golf. So why does Moyes start him after he started him? He played him for 90 minutes. He was a pure liability. You know, and the chat knows how much I love Mark.
I know.
But I don't want him to see that pitch again for many games. In fact, I would go as far to say I don't know if I'd really want to see him play for the rest of the season. That's how strongly I feel about how bad Mark is being. And I don't know if it's an attitude thing, if he is just knackered and that's having an effect, or if it's the fact that relegation is not even knocking at our door. It's got a foot in. Well, there's a foot in the door with relegation. And I don't know if that's affecting Mark, but he was atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Again, I don't know what made Moyes look at the Wolves game and think that lineup was a-okay, because he started Antonio up top again. So I don't know what he saw. I don't know what he saw. Thanks, Sally. I know, but it's blasphemy against Mark. I don't feel comfortable saying it, but he frustrated me so much. So I'll temporarily move off of Mark, but I'm pretty sure I'll end up coming back to him. The problem is that our lineup again, not a surprise, pretty predictable, as I suspect Chelsea will be a predictable lineup. It'll be exactly the same. I hope he starts a striker, otherwise I'll riot. Antonio is a waste in that position, because he's not skilled. I hate agreeing.
I
could with you about Antonio.
He should never be up top.
Shouldn't have been up top.
Never.
Isolated. It's not just the skill, it's just him isolated. He was up there surrounded by Spurs players, not a winger in sight from us.
Yeah.
So he was on his own, couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So after the first half, we thought, all right, hang on. Spurs actually, unlike Wolves, who I thought were playing well, Spurs, I thought we actually had this for the taking. But you could see that Mark was tired after the first half. You could see Antonio was struggling a bit. So you would think, as a manager, now is the time to get some fresh legs on the pitch.
Yep.
Still 0-0. We can take this, but we need to freshen it up. We need to take Mark off. How about putting Jack Wilshere on? All right. I know, right? Ray's an in tonight, but he's going to love me. Put Jack on, mix it up a bit, because whilst it was working, it was slowly, the cogs were like slowing down. That we were not as good as we were at the beginning of the game. So the cogs were slowing. He won't, after what I've said about him tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, that's a shame, because Rebecca doesn't like him.
the cogs were slowing down. So this was the time, fresh legs. No, nothing. Moyes was standing there, arms folded, as if everything was fine and we were 5-0 up. Fans were starting to go crazy. Make a substitution. Antonio has run off his feet. Then, of course, Souček's unlucky own goal. It was very unlucky. Now, question, live chat.
Yeah, really.
Handball.
I was excited. I saw, Souček made a goal. And then I was like,
it was just, it was unlucky. It came off his shin.
Yeah, I saw the replay.
So live chat, was it a handball? Was there a Spurs handball? Obviously, VAR said no. Moyes violently disagreed. So I want to know, did you think it was a handball or not? Because I know people that have said no. I think it was. But people have said it didn't aid play, so it wasn't. So live chat, get back to me. So we didn't mix up the midfield. So even after Souček's own goal, it didn't make Moyes go, all right, hang on, this isn't, I really need to mix it up now. I really need to get some fresh legs on the pitch. We need to change. No, nothing. No, nothing. Carried on. Then I think in the 70th minute, Moyes finally had a light bulb go off in his head obviously just said the word subs because he remembered that he could.
I think that's the thing. I think he just doesn't remember.
I feel like he's standing on the sidelines and he turns around and he goes, I've got a bench. Oh God, I've got players there. So who did he choose? He chose Lanzini and Anderson. Now, in Anderson's defense, the only thing he did was aid Bowen's ball, which went off the post. And that was our main shot. So he did do that. I'll give him that. Otherwise, he made absolutely no impact. Neither did Lanzini. And then there was Kane's goal, the goal that sealed it for Spurs. Absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. No one was marking him. Balbuena played him onside. Diop, they couldn't catch him. He wasn't going to miss. He wasn't going to miss a goal like that. Kane was not going to miss a goal like that. He hasn't scored in a while. He was not going to miss that goal. And of course he didn't. And it was just, I just couldn't believe it. He had so much space, but marking is a problem for us.
Oh yeah. Marking is
it's like, again, I feel, how it's like, how I said Moyes suddenly looks behind him and jumps because he can see his bench. I feel like players like Fredericks, they stand around and then they look and they go, oh God, I should have marked my man. This is the problem. We are not focused. Yeah, exactly, Lucas. 100%. They knew they couldn't catch him. In regards to the handball thing, the new handball rule is.
It makes me so happy I didn't watch it because I would have been blowing a gasket about this one too.
It's the handball rule is frankly confusing because I've seen some where it's definitely been handball, but then when it definitely is handball, VAR has ruled against it.
Yeah.
So it seems to be pick and choose which ref is viewing VAR at the time. Anyway, it was a goal, it was own goal. And I will get on to Fornals, Sally, I promise. My man of the match for the Spurs game was Bowen.
Okay.
100%. That boy put in so much. So much. And if I was him, I would have been so angry at the rest of my team having seen what they did against Spurs. Yeah. I would be so frustrated. And I said in another video that I did, if I was Bowen, I'd go. If I was Rice, I'd go. Because when you're putting in that much and your teammates are on, you've got Anderson walking around, you've got Noble because he's so tired that he's just walking after a ball. The problem is with us, with West Ham, and I think I've said this before, at times it resembles us playing like OAP walking football. You've just got players just ambling up and down the pitch. Antonio had to stop. He was on for another 90. You had him.
We're going to burn people out. You wonder why there's injury.
You had him trying to go for a ball, but you'd watch him and he'd get near it and you could just see him kind of like, I can't do it. And at one point he looked injured, and I'm pretty sure he kind of is. I still have a theory he is.
Well,
he just gave up. But he looked so angry that he gave up. But you can't force what's not there.
So my theory is, even if we stay up, we're going to be really rough next year.
I was going to save this till the end, but hey, I'll get it out now. If we manage to somehow stay up, Moyes is going to want an open top bus party if we stay up, because he's going to take full credit for us. Never mind, it will only be on teams around us not getting 3 points. That he'll want a parade, because he'll think he would have done a fantastic job.
No.
If we stay up next season, if we scrape through, we will go down next season. This is going to be a recurring theme for us until we. The thing is, it's the board as well. It's not just the players. Top down, West Ham has problems, and until those problems are addressed, this will be a continuing thing. Look, last season we did the same. We had to rely on other teams to get to do worse, so we managed to stay up. It's no way to be. I will get on to relegation. I've got theories about that as well. However, I've just looked at the time and we have 10 minutes. But don't worry, people. We can talk fast. I'm going to fit everything in. So quickly for Selly, Fornals' finishing is shocking. And I think it's a lack of confidence because, like I said before, thank you, Tim. I will definitely make you a background now you've said that.
He's trying to suck up to us.
How would it work? Flattery gets everywhere with me. Like with Fornals, I think it's just a lack of confidence. And that's why his finishing is bad. You can see it kind of frustrates him when he shoots. I mean, they're going off all over the place. And I think that's a confidence thing for me. I just don't think Moyes injects positivity and confidence into his players. But then if you had to sit in a room with Moyes and plan a match, would that fill you with confidence and positivity? Because it definitely wouldn't me.
Time out. Can I just say this?
Yeah.
Sally's picture is professional with a West Ham jersey on. How did we get professional West Ham jersey pictures?
Sally, what position can you play? Because
exactly.
How do we centre back? Can you be a striker?
Yeah.
Like, because we'll take you, please. I mean, if you're going to be that professional in pitches, you're going to have to step up and go on the pitch.
At this point, I feel like I could play better than some of those fools.
Actually, talking of people who are broken, why did we not bring on Jack Wilshere?
Oh.
I
love it how we talk about ourselves and we're like, the broken people.
It couldn't get any worse. When we're 2-0 down, it just can't get any worse.
I know. That's what I'm saying. At the point where we are already losing, what do we have to lose at this point?
Even if Jack was in a wheelchair, I would push him on that pitch. I reckon.
He play better defense than Fredericks, that's for sure, in a wheelchair.
Connor's a striker. He can wheel up. He'll do a better job than Antonio. With the wheels, he'd get quite a bit of traction on it and get the ball in at speed.
Oh, man. It's too much. It's too much.
Bowen for me was the man of the match. For me, and I feel filthy, disgusting saying this, but the worst player for me was Noble.
Hey, you know what? And sometimes that happens. And here's the thing. When that happens to players, that's normal. Mm-hmm. Okay. But the problem is that's where the coaching takes over. You pull them from the game. You tell them, hey, guess what? Today is just not your day. And that happens. For as long as he's been playing, he's going to have games where it's just pure crap. And that's okay.
The problem is, though, I will say with Mark is they're more crap than good. And that He'll always be wheelchair Lucas. That's the problem. He's always going to be wheelchair Wilshire. That's it. That's his name now. But the thing is,
know that about Noble.
Yeah. The thing is, he can be good. Not 90 minutes good, though. Not 90 minutes good, and not played every match either.
So I don't think. Who is Moyes fooling? Himself?
The fans. he's making a fool out of. Well, do you know what? I'm going to go out and say he's making a fool out of his good players. He's making a fool out of the fans. He's making a fool of his players. Do you know what? You still do better than Antonio.
Yeah, Tebow, I'm putting you in.
I'll tell you what. Use 2 crutches as 4 legs. Shoot with a crutch. You're still going to aim better. Right. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going off on one, people. I'm really sorry. We've covered Moyes. He's allergic to making subs. Zero tactical awareness. He is blind to what's going on, or he's deliberately ignoring it. I don't know if he wants to go down or stay up. As I said, he blames everyone else but himself. The whole team's negative. There's a whole negative attitude, and that is down to him. He is there to build up his players and but he is outrageously bad at managing. The man cannot manage. And it's violently clear to everyone. But
I really, truly don't know what it is. I don't know why he can't see reality.
Also, I've just seen John say that bring back Fat Sam. No, because you know what this is? I'm gonna use an example. Fat Sam is the ex-boyfriend that you call and you text when you've had too much to drink and you're alone in bed and you think it's a good idea. That's what Fat Sam is to us. Let's not text our ex, because the last time we text our ex, it was David Moyes, and he came back to us.
Oh,
and where we are. Like, it's not going back isn't worth it, because going back doesn't work. Because if it worked, Fat Sam would still be with us, but Fat Sam isn't with us because it didn't work. His football didn't work. Don't go back to your ex, people. I mean, that's good advice. That's good life advice in general. Don't text your ex when you're drunk. Go to sleep. It's the best thing to do. But we don't go back. Like, it's not worth it. You know, we've done it with David Moyes. We brought cheap, and look what we're paying for it. We are paying for it. Right. We're going to do this. We might go over a little bit. But
I would love. I know Moyes has a contract, but I would honestly be open to just letting Nolan take over at this point.
You know, I agree. Okay. I love Slav. Slav was my favorite. Absolutely my favorite. I know I've triggered Tim. I've just realized I said Slav was my favorite.
Oh no.
Yeah, he won't like that. But it's not worth going back. And also, talking of Nolan, he's kind of Moyes' left-hand man here. So Nolan's obviously seeing this, and it makes me wonder what Nolan thinks. And 2, is he offering any different advice? Is he telling him to use subs? Is he agreeing with Moyes? That kind of worries me here.
I really want to know who can get these answers from them. Like, is there pressure from the board to do a certain thing? I am just so
pressure to be cheap, to be, it's definitely, I don't know, but it makes me wonder about Nolan and how much input he has. Because when Nolan was first appointed, we were all like, obviously he's up at the sidelines with Moyes. He's getting he's getting stuck in. But it makes me wonder, is he not basically saying to Moyes, hey, you've got 5 subs now, more than 3. Try using them. Be good for you.
I don't know. I'm getting ready to apply for the next job, because
it just makes me wonder what input Nolan's actually having. And does he agree with him, or does he disagree with him and he just can't say? Because if Nolan agrees with Moyes' tactics now, I don't want him as manager. Because I don't want more of the same. I don't really believe that. And I would take Nolan. Obviously, Moyes isn't going anywhere. Not before the end of this season. But I honestly don't think all great minds, Irish Tommy. I was just about to say, no manager.
Well, I understand that, but
under the board.
I disagree. I really truly think that he has control over
I don't. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of rotten from the top down, and where it's the most important bit, which is the board. And obviously it's the board and it comes with players, our lack of scouts, the back room stuff, it's the board, all right, Moyes, in my opinion, the buck stops with Moyes, but yet the board have input. We know they have input. We know they have too much input. So until the board changes, I can't see a manager really working. And also another thing, we can't keep changing managers. If we want consistency in our play, we can't keep swapping managers. And that's the problem with getting Moyes back. The problem is the people that were Pellegrini out are now Moyes out. And the problem is with that is there will be no level of consistency at West Ham until we do it properly. And we may not be able to do it properly under the board currently.
Well, they need to learn to do something properly or we're going to get relegated. And that...
if we get relegated, this
board doesn't need us to get relegated.
No.
So that's why they need to do something.
I'm seeing people talk about Red Bull, and I just don't have the time to go into why I don't agree with Red Bull.
Yeah, we're not going to get into Red Bull tonight. We can tell you for another day.
We will save that for another show. Now, I'm sure Tim won't mind us going over slightly, but I would like to go over the lineup for Chelsea.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should.
Well, I think we should. He won't mind. And if he does, he can come tell me off afterwards.
Yeah. So it's a 4-3-3?
For me, it's a 4-3-3.
Okay. And who do you think?
So for me, do you know, there's me talking about predictable lineup. I think I've gone for the most predictable lineup. Obviously, Cresswell, Diop, Ogbonna, Fredericks. Now, Fredericks is a bit of a problem for me because one, I don't trust him. Sorry, Wally. But do you think Johnson should start against Chelsea?
I do. I want to see him. I think that there's nothing to lose at this point.
I would be wary of starting him against Chelsea. I would be. I would skeptical, but then no, I'd still be skeptical. I just experience wise. That's why I'd kind of like Ngakia, which isn't going to happen because he's gone. So my midfield is Wilshere, Rice, and Souček. Now, Wilshere's a problem. I don't know if we should be starting him. I feel like it's a bad move to start him. I would like him to come on as a sub. He just hasn't played enough. But at this point, I just don't. You can't start Noble. For me, you can't start Noble in this match. You just cannot start Noble.
No, not after 2 90-minute games.
And then up top, Fornals, Haller, who probably won't be starting, and Bowen. But if it's not Haller, Ayeti. Start Ayeti, man. Start Ayeti. And I wouldn't be starting Antonio.
No, I definitely think Antonio should be our sub.
Yeah, I think he should be our sub. But Wilshere should have made appearances. And then that means that we could have started him against Chelsea. But I think I don't know about starting him against Chelsea. But for me, it's just I struggled to pick. See, Robbie, I'd rather see Ayeti than Silva. Although I have heard Silva's doing really well in training. But then that,
I think
Roberto could have done well in training. And look at him when he actually played. So, Lucas, I know Fornals needs to play in the middle, but who would you put on the left? Lucas, who would you put on the left if Fornals isn't there? Would you start Anderson? Because I wouldn't start Anderson. I wouldn't start Anderson in a million years.
No, and I agree with everyone you said. I think that, I think I'd keep Fredericks in instead of Ben Johnson, even though I want to see Ben Johnson. I think that we are going to struggle, and I'm not excited for it. I do want to see Haller and Bowen work together up top with Fornals. I think that would be great. I think putting Antonio in as a sub for left wing would be perfect. If not that, saving him for Yeah, I think left wing would be best for him.
Sorry, Katie. Sorry. You can't put Arth on. You can't put Arth on. I don't agree with it. You can't. It has to be Cresswell. it has to be. You can't put Masuaku on.
Oh, no. I would never. No. Did someone say that?
Yeah, Sai.
Oh no, Sai.
Yeah, no. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. See, Irish Tommy says start Johnson. So he's with you. I just listen. I don't think they're the right answer. I genuinely don't think there's a right answer because it's just the only yeah, I know, so I put off. But like I there's just no. I'm struggling to get people together. Yeah.
But like, I think a 4-3-3 is definitely going to be good compared to Chelsea because they typically play it's a 4-3-3, but it's almost like a 4-2-3-1. So I think we can split them good with a 4-3-3. I like everyone you chose, and I think that's good. Yeah, I agree.
I watched Chelsea tonight though, and we will probably lose. Just so you know, like we probably.
I know.
We probably will lose. Quickly though, before we go, because we're 6 minutes over, score predictions for Chelsea, please, Miss KTK.
Do you really want my answer?
Yeah, go on.
3-0.
Okay, do you know what? I'm going to end on a positive because nothing I said in this video has been remotely positive. I've literally slagged off everyone apart from
Ooh, I want to hear positive.
We're going to win 2-1. We're going to have a striker on, and it's going to make the
world. Wait, did you just say we're going to win 2-1?
Yeah. We're going to. Moyes is going to start a striker.
Take another sip of that tea.
Hang on. I've given the tea. I've given the tea, right? 2-1 us. I'm calling it.
All right. So me with the 3-0.
And 2-1 to us.
And Rebecca with the 2-1 us.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna start a striker and we're gonna score some goals.
Hey, listen, I will be the happiest woman if we win 2-1.
Yeah, I know, Matt, you know that's just tea with whiskey and I'm, slightly off my face in order to say that. But I will say if we don't win against Chelsea, we have no choice but to get points from every other game we play apart from United, because that won't happen.
John's asking who will score. Oh, Souček again.
yeah, just another goal.
For me, I mean no one.
Who scores for me?
Rebecca.
Bowen.
I wouldn't be happier.
Bowen. You know what? I think Fornals might get a sneaky one.
Hey,
I'm gonna go out on a limb there. I think Fornals might get a sneaky one in.
I think the three of them up top is exactly what we need. So you know what? Maybe it'll be a 3-1. I'll give you that with Bowen for the 1.
You never know. Maybe they might, perk up. Maybe Moyes might remember that he's actually a manager, and that's what he paid probably a vast amount of money for.
Oh man,
optimistic as I am, though. Thanks for the backup.
The man from down under has spoken.
No support. Outrageous live chat. How could you?
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We've had a great time this evening, even though we were hot-headed and fired up. That's life. That's the West Ham way, right, Rebecca?
Way. And I'll tell you what, after Chelsea, we'll be back after Chelsea, and we'll probably be doing this all over again.
All right. Well, I guess there's only one other thing to say after you subscribe, comment that we're your favorite Hammerettes, because if you have other Hammerettes that are your favorite, you're not welcome back.
We all know, and it's okay, it's a secret between just all of us. We all know we're your favorite on AHTV.
Yeah, that too. But I wasn't gonna say that. I wasn't gonna,
Tim's ears of just perfect. Anyway, subscribe, because otherwise I'll cry. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Come on, you Irons. Chelsea.
Positivity, people.
3-1. Bye, guys. Have a good night.